Ever feel like you're working way too hard and not getting the results that you deserve? Well, let me tell you, there's a way that you can work less, earn more, without sacrificing any of the quality or burning yourself out. Hi, I'm David Allen, and I have struggled to crack the code for having consulting success. I've been working long hours, have had stressful days. In this video, I'll show you the exact steps that I use to build up my schedule for real consulting success. Are you ready to take your consulting game to the next level? Well, let's get into it. All right, so let's get in some of that detail about how I can really manage my schedule down to what really is more of a 4-day work week so I can live the life that I really want to live. But let's define the problem, because that's really what I've struggled with. I'm actually a pretty reasonable planner, and being a project manager, planning comes quite natural to me. And so I really was trying to fix myself in a lot of the planning activities, and I found out that really was not the problem. This new world inside the virtual environment where you have instant messages on Teams, you've got Slack, you've got Gmail chat, you've got Zoom, you've got Teams meetings, really made you available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And what I found out is I really need to put that work into a combined area so I can really have an effective way to communicate when I'm available and what my goals are, and how to do this in a way that shows that I'm doing it not just for myself, but really to make sure I get my work done as a project manager on every project, day in and day out, week in and week out. As a project manager, I had deliverables every week: a weekly report, financials, statuses on where we are at, working through issue resolutions. And so if I didn't control my schedule really well, I just didn't meet my deliverables. And I found myself getting in that trap over and over again. Once again, not because of my planning, but really having other people plan my days because of their inefficiencies. See, I figured out that a lot of the people I worked with, or my customers, they weren't great planners. They were, just too busy to figure it all out. And so they just kept busy. And then they figured, oh, I need to get some work done. Let's make a meeting Friday afternoon and let's start figuring this out, when I was ready Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And so that led me to work on a concept which I would call project norms, or my own personal norms around my schedule. Now, I searched what a norm is using OpenAI, and let me read you what they said. A norm is a standard or rule that guides behavior, exception, or practices within a particular group. Norms can be formal, like laws and organizational policies, or informal, like social customs and cultural expectations. They help maintain order, provide predictability, and establish a shared understanding among individuals or groups. Now, they gave a bunch of examples, and they came up with these 3 quick bullets. Norms shape interactions by setting expectations. This is very important. They reduce uncertainty in a group setting. They maintain order and prevent chaos. We've all heard the phrase, make it the exception, not the norm. And that's really what we're trying to do with your schedule. We're trying to build you a model schedule based upon norms that you communicate to your individual stakeholders to tell them how you're approaching your week. And there will be exceptions, but that's what they need to be, the exception, not the rule. You want to get rid of some things out of your schedule. You want to say no to some things so you really can drive the bulk of your work when you're ready to do it, so then you can deliver your stuff on a weekly and every 2-week basis as you are prescribed to do. Now, you may have heard of the 4-day work week, and there's some countries that are doing it. There's some companies in the US that are doing it. And really, in the old consulting days, that's how we used to work. I would get up Monday morning or leave Sunday night, go back Thursday, back to my house, and Friday was my day to kind of do the necessary things I needed to do, because I've been with the customer for 4 days. When I started looking at my norms, I approached everything in a 4-day work week. I figured if I worked Monday through Thursday, if for some reason I didn't get something done, instead of working Saturday, Sunday, and all weekend and all nights, I could do that on Friday. And so that's how I really approach my 2 core norms around my schedule. So the first major norm that I try to do is I try to bulk most of my work between Monday and Thursday over a 9-hour day. Sometimes it's 10 if I have to, but 9 hours seems to be kind of the sweet spot for me. Now, when I'm on site with customers, that's the exact same thing I do anyway. I usually fly in Sunday night, Monday morning. I'm there for 4 days, and I do 9 to 10 hour days. And so I'm required to work 40 hours. I'm required to bill 40 hours per week. And so that gets me right there about 36 hours of time in my billable schedule without doing anything extra mornings or nights. What that does is it forces me to schedule within those 4 days. And if I need something to happen and there's no other time to get it done, I can use Friday as the exception. So the other big norm I try to do is keep Fridays open for myself, right? As a project manager, I've got some things I need to do, and they can lead to a Friday activity, getting a final status report, maybe doing a steering committee. But I try to do that as the exception, right? I keep Fridays open to review my schedules, review my activities, get caught up, use it as an overflow day. If you don't provide that type of buffer inside your schedule, your overflow is Saturday and Sunday. And I found myself doing that each and every week. I was going to be going to complete burnout if I was to continue that schedule. And so now I force Monday through Thursday to do the core work. Friday is my overflow. And if it's really necessary, I do have Saturday and Sunday, but that really is going well beyond what I would like to do now. Now, the complaints I get from when I talk about this with my consultants is, hey, Dave, the customer's demanding this and the customer's demanding that. And so it's really important that you set up your schedule and your norms early in your project and you communicate them. I think most customers are looking to find a way to work their schedule and work the activities with you so they can get that project completed. And so I just say, hey, this is how I schedule my day. This is how I schedule my week. And this is what I'm looking to do with you as a part of that activity. And it does take a little bit of adjustment, but typically quickly into the project, they have come to where I needed to be. And if there is an exception, they know they can ask for it because I'm totally available to that. I just don't want to have, Monday at 7 a.m. going till 10 o'clock on a Friday night. Those days are over. And with the new way of working, I would just want a lot more flexibility. I think one of the real key elements here is that everyone needs time to get their work done. Most people aren't 100% dedicated to the project you're on. You may not even be dedicated completely on the project. Sometimes I'm working 2 projects simultaneously. And it's even more important to set those norms, right? I work on this project in the morning or Mondays and Tuesdays, and this other project Wednesdays and Thursdays. You provide a framework to your customers so they know the level of expectation. And if they need to ask for it, they will, right? They've got their own projects to get done. They're probably running a business. They're working on this project. They may have other things to do. And so if they know that way to interact, and then you give them ways to work around it through technology like Slack or instant messages or things of that nature, you can work asynchronously, beyond those hours if you need to be. Now, when I approach the Monday through Thursday and the Friday activities, like I said, I try to focus on a 9-hour day. And I've broken those 9-hour days into 3 basic elements. One, it's a 30 minutes at the beginning of the day. It's 30 minutes at the end of the day to do planning and just kind of what I would call my administrative task. There's no way to get into a day without understanding what you need to get done. And so the one thing that I really focus in on is what are those open activities and when do they need to be delivered, right? There's no reason to work on something that's due in 2 weeks when you may have stuff that's due in the next few days. And so I really get laser focused in on what am I supposed to get done today? And then many times I focus on what's the one thing or group of things that I need to get done, right? Sometimes it's working on JIRA tickets on a major process. Maybe it's updating a project plan. Maybe I'm developing a steering committee deck for somebody. Whatever it is, every day my goal is to get something done and out of the way. And every day I want to deliver something to my next major goal. So 30 minutes of planning in the morning, and I kind of close my day out and say, what did I do through 30 minutes of planning? Now in between there, that leaves 8 hours of work. And I break those down kind of 4 hours each. 4 hours for intimate working for the tasks that I need to be done. So this is either me individually working on something or what I would say is a small group. It's a smaller group of people getting a very specific action completed. Many times as consultants, this would be you and your counterpart at the company working through a business process or making a decision, maybe doing some testing. It's really getting work moved from point A to point B to get closer to that deliverable. So that's 4 hours of my time. The other 4 is what I'd call more the group activities or broader meetings. So those are large status reports. It's the large team meetings that you may have. It may be going through basic designs through a larger team. So there's 4 hours for kind of the broader team kind of project activities, and there's 4 hours for my more intimate get work done. And every day, that's kind of how I set things up. And it's a model. You're not going to be able to do this every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I lay that out in my schedule as a desire, and then as I go through the work and start planning for my week and start getting those meeting requests, I balance that out. And some days, you do have the 8 hours of meetings, and that's unfortunate. But that means Tuesday can't be another 8 hours of meetings. You've got to balance that out. So you have about half of your time focused on those broader topics and meetings and things that have to happen. But you have half of your time. We're talking about 16 to 20 hours to do some deep focused work. It's very hard. I worked with a gentleman, he was in change management, and he would say, David, for every hour of meeting that you're in, you probably have an hour of prep before that meeting, and you have an hour after that meeting to really understand the results or get back to someone as a part of that. So you can't fill up your days Monday through Thursday just meeting after meeting and not executing. That's going to lead you for long nights, long weekends, and really not, really having the life that you're looking to live. It's going to be nonstop. At the end of the day, it's hard for me to bill past 40 hours. The customer really has to prove that they're requesting stuff beyond the norm for me to bill beyond that 40 hours. So my goal is to get as efficient as possible within those 40 hours to not only work with them and communicate where we're at and get decisions and deliverables from them, but also get that work done. And like I said, as a project manager, I have weekly events I have to do. They're non-negotiables. And if it takes me 40 hours, that's great. If it takes me 140 hours, that's what it's going to take. My goal was to find real balance in the work-life kind of daily events. I'm all for getting stuff done, and I'm willing to step up and work that 10, 12, or 14-hour day. Not a problem. And in every project, you're going to have that. So don't think of this as, hey, this week I failed at doing it, and I'm not going to be able to do it next week's. It really takes time to evolve into this process. But the first step you have to do is lay down that expectation. This is when I'm available, this is what I'm doing, and this is how we use it. And you'll be surprised when you explain this to your boss or to your customer or client or your individual teammates, and you say, hey, listen, I'm going to make Friday reserved for my overflow for the week, so to make sure I deliver week in and week out. If you're doing sprints and you're on a 2-week sprint cycle, you got to be really careful. If you don't really hone in on your time and get that figured out, you're going to be working those late hours right up to when that sprint deliverable is. And this will allow you to say, hey, here's 3 or 4 days of hard work as a group, and here's my individual time for overflow. And you know what? The best thing is if you work the 40 hours, you provided value, you delivered to your customers, and it's Friday at 10 o'clock and you're done for the day, then you've got a 3-day weekend. And that's what I'm really finding myself out. I'm being more focused on getting my work done. I'm delivering better results. I'm being more consistent in my activities. It's not uncommon for me to be, taking a 3-day weekend and doing a small trip because it's always available. And if I need to work over the weekend, sometimes I like to do that. Like I've got flexibility, or it's raining outside, or I've got nothing to do, and I'll delay some work on Friday to do it on Saturday when I've got a fresh brain and really want to think through it. Getting into this level of detail in your planning and communicating it, it's not a nice to have anymore. It's essential for you to really get into work and enjoy it every day and then pull yourself out of it. And like I said, the best result by implementing this type of approach is that it really focuses myself. All the planning I would normally do, it really gives me a desire to get through that work Monday through Thursday, really focuses on my time, so then I can back off a couple days per week and really re-energize myself or really hone in on something that I really want to get done and get that completed. Overall, you'll find yourself achieving more in less time than you've ever done before. But how does this turn into actual financially wealth and maybe increased bill rates and things of that nature? Well, let's just walk through some basic numbers. So I did a quick calculation here. Let's just say you make $75 per hour and you work 40 hours per week. That's $3,000 per week that you earn. Now, if you just work 50 hours instead of that 40, but you're not able to bill it, right? Like I said, if you're being inefficient or the customer doesn't see the value, many times that means you're working on your dollar and not being able to bill that extra time. Overtime on projects can be very difficult unless the customer is demanding something or pushing for additional work to be done. And so many times that extra work that you're having to do, you're having to eat with inside your bill rate. And so what that does is takes that $75 bill rate and drops it down to $60. It's a huge reduction in your overall value. And so you really need to be careful about what you do. So that really is an opportunity cost, because you're still getting paid the $3,000 whether you work the 40 hours or 50 hours or maybe even the 60 hours. But ultimately it's going to affect your health and wealth and everything else. Now, what I've found out is me being a better planner of myself and laying down these expectations, people look at me and say, hey guys, this guy's really got his plan and act together, and he's going to deliver because he lays down these expectations. And so I've been able to move my bill rate up, probably 20% over the past few years, just because I come to work, I get work done, and I deliver it, and they see it week in and week out. So a lot of people get concerned about, hey, I can't tell my customer what to do, and I can't tell them my schedule. I can't do these things. You really can. You just got to do it in a way which shows them, hey, listen, I'm doing this to deliver as we've required to do in this statement of work or in this project. Make sure you're really selling the idea of, hey, listen, I've got to get this done. I've got to get it done this period. And there's exceptions to that rule, but this is the way I work to make sure I'm always delivering on time for you. That'll get you honed in personally. It will get them focused on getting the work done, and it'll allow you to get more of your real rate that you deserve. And when they see that, a few projects later, you can show evidence of this, you may have the real opportunity to increase your rate. Now, I'd love to know what you're doing to really focus in on your customer so you don't have those long nights and weekends. So comment down below some of your strategies that may be helpful to the other people or viewers of this video. Now, I just showed you a couple of the norms that are my basic way of looking at my schedule, and there's many more things that I'm doing that I'll be able to share with you in other videos. But this is fundamentally, I think, a major shift in the way I think. Set up the norms, focus in on the work, try to work that 4-day work week with the bulk of your activities, and really deliver as your design. Well, that's it. I hope you really enjoyed the video. Hopefully you can implement some of these things into your daily activities and really change the way you're looking at your projects and your activities and your overall schedule. I'd love for you to like the video. Please subscribe, as I'll be laying out a lot more content. And if you want, check out my latest video. It'll be sitting up above or down in the links below. Hope you have a great day. See you in the next video.